Okay, so what you are seeing on the screen right now is James Harden's trade request to Miami, and this is Houston's offer to Miami to trade him to that organization. And obviously Miami said no to this deal. And honestly, man, I gotta say that was so stupid. Looking back on that decision right now, and yes, I understand hindsight, it's 2020, all of that BS. Cut the crap. This is a bad decision. Even at that time, it was a bad decision. But before I get into all of that and my reasoning why, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because I know most people that watch these videos are not subscribed, so make sure you do that. And also drop a like and comment your opinions down below. But without further ado, let's get back to the topic of this video, the Miami Heat. Now, to understand why I feel the way I feel about this team, you have to take it back to when Jimmy Butler signed with them. Because I originally did not like the move, as I didn't think Jimmy Butler was good enough to get them past the second round at best. But he proved me wrong, obviously, and guided them to the finals, in which he even got 2 games off the Los Angeles Lakers. It was a great year for Jimmy Butler last year. He showed why having a player with intangibles like that is very important. It can drastically change the fate of your organization. Just look at what Chris Paul is doing over there in Phoenix. That's another example of guys that can change the culture of your team, and Jimmy Butler has done that with the Miami Heat. But then you look at what's around him, and Tyler Herro is the big guy, because let's just keep it a buck here. The only reason that Herro still to this day is looked at as some big trade piece is because he had one great game in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics in Game 4. And all props to him. That was a great performance he had in the bubble. But please, let's not boost Tyler Herro and act like he's going to be a guaranteed superstar in the NBA, because he's not that. And you may be wondering, why does that matter? Well, I'll tell you why it matters. It's because the Miami Heat believe he is that good, that he's going to be as good as Devin Booker. There are so many reports of how high they view Tyler Herro's potential. And to be quite honest with you, I kind of feel bad for him, because you're giving him expectations that quite honestly just might not be reachable. But that's just my opinion on him. When you look at the rest of the team, that's a really solid roster around Jimmy Butler. You have Goran Dragic, who is a solid scorer. I love what he can do with his left hand. I heard Mark Jackson say he's kind of like the long lost cousin of Ginobili, and I definitely agree with that. Duncan Robinson is an excellent shooter. We all know his gravity is insane. For a guy that doesn't create his own shots, he definitely can make plays for others by just the attention he gets on the court from the defense. But then you also have impact players like Bam Adebayo, who is a defensive force, the ability to switch on all 5 positions, the ability to guard inside and out. He's also a great lob threat, and offensively he has worked on his game, especially with that mid-range jumper. He has a handle, he uses it to create his own shot every now and then, and he can make his free throws. Now, Bam is really expanding his bag, and he is living up to that max contract that the Miami Heat gave him. And just imagine now, Miami Heat fans, just look at this. You have Jimmy Butler, who's coming off of leading you to the finals and getting you 2 games by himself essentially against the Lakers. Then you have Bam Adebayo, who's a young star on the rise and is playing the best basketball of his career this season. And then you throw in the mix a guy like James Harden, who is a former league MVP and was actually the front runner in my opinion for the MVP before he had a hamstring injury. So to be quite honest with you, I don't know why you don't make that your big 3 going forward, especially when James Harden wants to play for your team. James Harden is a top 5, at the very least top 10 player in the NBA. If you think that Tyler Herro is going to become that in the future, I'm sorry, man. you're tweaking. And hell, if you think it's just too much depth you're losing, too many young pieces you have to move, and it's too much picks, all of the value you're giving up, you just don't think James Harden's worth it. He's also having a lot of drama in Houston. It's too much, the strip clubs, you know, all of that stuff. Hey, it plays a role, man. So instead you pass on him and he goes to the Brooklyn Nets. You let him go to a super team when you knew that was a possibility. The Miami Heat knew that James Harden wanted to go to Brooklyn, Miami, and there was a couple other places. He had Portland down, but let's just be real, that wasn't realistic. But the other one was Philly, and everybody thought that was gonna happen, but the Rockets were petty. So they decided to send him to the Brooklyn Nets, and the Miami Heat are only going to have that as a backfire. It backfired in their faces because now they're gonna have to deal with this super team, which makes it even harder to even get to the finals in the first place because they might as well be losing to the champions. Every single year that might be the scenario for the Miami Heat now. And they could have had James Harden and prevented all of that and gone up against a Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Because I definitely think James Harden, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo could go toe-to-toe against the Brooklyn Nets had they not traded for James Harden. But instead, let's settle for Tyler Herro. Now, to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to kill the Miami Heat too much for this, because when it comes to trades, you have to understand the context of the time period of the trade. At that time, Tyler Herro was a rookie and had a great performance in the bubble in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics that the Miami Heat weren't even favored to beat. It was a great performance and he had some solid games in the bubble, so you have to look at him as a future young star on the rise. And you're also strapping yourself by giving away other young talents such as Precious Achiuwa, Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson. You have a bunch of picks. I get it, you're gutting your team, you're giving away young talent. That argument is very valid and I understand, but guys, James Harden is consensus top 10 player in this league, easily, and is the best player at his position. And not only is he a great player, but he wants to play for your organization. And if you see what he's doing in Brooklyn, he has clearly adapted to the culture and is fit in by taking a step back offensively and being a playmaker. And he could have been doing that in Miami with Jimmy Butler, who is a good off-ball player with backdoor cuts, and also because he is athletic, he can get behind his defenders, drawing fouls, getting to the rim. James Harden could have been giving him easy baskets, whether it's in a fast break or in the half-court setting, because you know James Harden got that gravity. And then Bam Adebayo fits perfectly like a glove. It's just going to be what him and Clint Capella was doing in Houston, but on steroids, because Bam is just built differently. And as a matter of money, James Harden still has another year left on his deal. Jimmy Butler is locked in on a max contract with multiple years left on it, and Bam Adebayo just re-signed his contract extension recently this past offseason. But now instead of having that, you're gonna have to go up against a juggernaut in the Brooklyn Nets. And I know some people are saying the Brooklyn Nets are beatable because of their defensive issues on the interior. I understand all of that, but guys, this is a team that has Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Even if they don't win this year, we know there's going to be a moment in time where they're just dominating the league and there's nothing we can do about it. That's how a lot of these dynasties and super teams work. You don't win it all the time, but when you start clicking, it's over for the league. Shaq and Kobe, Jordan and Pippen, Miami's big three with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, and obviously we saw it recently with Golden State. So for that to be the opponent of the Miami Heat for years to come, they can only have themselves to blame, because they could have avoided all of this by just trading for James Harden and having him to themselves to make themselves a better team and actually have a real shot at winning a championship, especially this season. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm sure a lot of Miami Heat fans are gonna get on my ass in the comment section, so let me have it. I'm all here for it. Make sure you also drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and push the bell for post notifications. Follow me on social media and follow Nothing But Action. The link is down below in the description box for our Instagram page. We will be doing a giveaway of 2 $100 gift cards. To be entered, all you have to do is follow. But that concludes this video. Y'all stay safe and have a great day. I'm out. Peace.